Earth, our pale blue dot, our home, is the only known place in this vast universe that supports life. But could it be that we are not alone? Could alien life not only exist, but may have already visited us? Could some among us even have been abducted? These questions, once reserved for science fiction, are now part of serious debates in scientific and public circles. In the United States alone, thousands of UFO sightings are reported every single year. Some even claim they were taken aboard alien ships. "I'm a completely normal person," says one experiencer, "but I've lived a life filled with incredibly strange, inexplicable moments." Many of these encounters are dismissed as natural phenomena or secret military operations, but a small, stubborn subset continues to defy logic and explanation. Eyewitnesses describe massive, silent flying craft, some up to 2 miles wide, hovering or moving with precision. Skeptics point to the influence of media. "If you dream of an alien, it looks like the alien you've seen in movies," one psychologist says. "Pop culture shapes what we expect to see." Yet some scientists argue that there is no law of physics preventing an advanced civilization, perhaps 1,000,000 years older than ours, from making contact. And if they've been here, they may have left clues: crop circles, ancient monuments, unexplained lights. Dr. Lynn Kitey, a medical doctor, was one of the thousands of people who saw something extraordinary in the Arizona skies. In March 1997, during a clear night when many were watching for the Hale-Bopp comet, an enormous silent V-shaped craft slowly passed over the entire state. It wasn't a light show. It was a structured object, 1 mile long, no sound, gliding above the cities. The U.S. military eventually claimed the Phoenix lights were caused by flares dropped during training exercises, but witnesses weren't convinced. Pyrotechnics expert Paul Mann explained, "Flares flicker, fall, and leave smoke trails. What people saw hovered and formed perfect geometric patterns. The issue isn't just what people saw, it's how they interpret it." Dr. Michael Shermer, publisher of Skeptic magazine, argues that human perception is flawed, especially at night. "You can't judge size or speed accurately without reference point," he explains. "People guess wildly. This confusion fuels conspiracy theories. Take the 1947 Roswell incident. Initially described as a weather balloon crash, decades later it was rebranded a Cold War spy balloon project. But the changing narrative only fed suspicions. If they lied before, UFO enthusiasts ask, why believe them now? The mystery only deepens when even the military reports anomalies. In 1980, near Rendlesham Forest in England, several US Air Force personnel, including Deputy Base Commander Charles Holt, reported seeing lights descending into the trees. At the supposed landing site, they found triangular indentations in the ground and radiation levels 4 times higher than background. Holt and his team then witnessed a red light moving through the forest, shedding what looked like molten metal before exploding silently into multiple white orbs. Skeptics later suggested it was a lighthouse beam, but Holt remains firm. "I know what I saw, I just don't know what it was."
Let's assume for a moment that aliens do exist. How would they communicate with us, if at all? And would they even want to? We often imagine aliens speaking to humans using words, or even telepathy. But scientists warn this is anthropocentric. We assume aliens think like us. They may communicate using chemistry, colors, vibrations, or completely alien methods. Worse still, they might choose not to communicate with humans at all. They could speak to whales, or bees, or anything they consider more intelligent than us. Dr. Lawrence Doyle, a scientist with SETI, the Search for Extraterrestrial Intelligence, has a bold idea. Before trying to talk to aliens, we need to understand what communication is. He studies how dolphins, monkeys, and even humpback whales speak. Using information theory, a branch of mathematics originally developed for telephone signals, he measures how complex a species' language is. On this scale, English ranks about 9. Squirrel monkeys score a 3, dolphins reach 4, and whales possibly higher than humans. Doyle suggests that if aliens ever send a message, it must follow universal rules of information. We can't understand the words, but we can measure the structure, he says. That tells us if it's intelligent or random. But there's another possibility. We may not need to find aliens, because they may already be here. What if life on Earth began as alien life? This theory, called panspermia, suggests that microscopic life from another world hitched a ride on a meteorite and landed on Earth billions of years ago. Dr. Chris McKay of NASA believes this is worth serious attention. Mars, for example, once had water, a magnetic field, and volcanoes, ideal conditions for life. A massive meteorite could have ejected Martian soil into space. If that rock landed on Earth, it could have seeded our planet. To test this, researchers fired bacteria-loaded rocks into walls at over 13,000 pounds per hour, simulating an impact. Many bacteria survived. And in 1996, scientists found a Martian meteorite in Antarctica that contained organic molecules and microscopic structures resembling fossilized cells. Though controversial, it revived the panspermia debate. If this theory holds true, we humans might be the aliens we've been searching for. After decades of exploration, scientists remain open to many possibilities. Aliens might exist, but have no interest in us. They might have visited, but in robotic form. They might never reach us due to cosmic distances. Or, in the biggest twist of all, we are the result of ancient alien life. Whatever the truth, one thing is certain. We must keep looking. Despite all the technological possibilities, warp drives, nanobots, and robotic explorers, many people continue to report close encounters with biological alien beings. Some claim to have been abducted, taken aboard spacecraft, examined, and even implanted with mysterious devices. A woman, referred to as Molly from New York, claims she experienced visitations since childhood. One of her most vivid memories involves a dreamlike encounter. I felt a sharp pain in my neck, like something was inserted. When I woke up, there was a hard lump, like a grain of rice. She believes this was an implant, though it vanished before any medical tests could be done. In another memory, she describes being in a clam-like capsule on a ship, undergoing medical experiments. There was a tall, insect-like being operating the equipment. I couldn't move. Many others report similar accounts: unwanted contact, strange procedures, memories wiped, fear and confusion. Skeptics argue these stories have a more earthly explanation. Many resemble symptoms of sleep paralysis, a state where the body is immobile, but the mind is semi-awake and prone to terrifying hallucinations. Dr. Michael Shermer believes cultural exposure plays a major role. 1,000 years ago, these beings were demons or angels. Now, they're aliens. The mind projects fears using symbols it's familiar with. Throughout history, humans have reported visitations, from fairies to spirits to devils. In today's sci-fi era, aliens have taken their place. Dr. Michael Persinger, a neuroscientist from Canada, offered another theory. He discovered that certain electromagnetic fields can stimulate the brain's temporal lobes, inducing intense sensations, like a presence in the room. To test this, he built a laboratory that creates a complex magnetic field and applies it to a volunteer's brain. Subjects are placed in a dark, soundproof room and asked to describe their experience. In one test, a subject panicked. It felt like I was dying. There was something with me. I couldn't move. It was horrifying. Persinger believes such sensations are hardwired into our brain and can be triggered naturally by solar flares, earthquakes, or even just sleeping near faulty wiring. This could explain why alien visitations occur mostly at night and in isolated locations. But is this just a neurological trick? Or is it a real connection? Some researchers argue that the similarity of alien experiences across cultures is proof of something universal, whether external or internal. Regardless, the stories remain consistent. Beings with large eyes, spindly bodies, light or glowing environments, telepathic communication, and a loss of time. No solid physical evidence has ever been verified. No implants confirmed, no artifacts recovered. And yet, people continue to report encounters. Perhaps the real mystery lies not out in space, but within the human mind. Even if an alien civilization had mastered interstellar travel via wormholes or warp drives, they would still face formidable dangers when approaching Earth. The first is our atmosphere. It protects life here from harmful radiation, but also acts as a barrier. Any object entering Earth's atmosphere from space rapidly heats up due to friction with air molecules. Asteroids and even man-made objects often burn up completely on re-entry. NASA spacecraft overcome this challenge using heat-resistant tiles and controlled descent. But for an alien ship, the entry must be carefully calculated. Could their technology be advanced enough to slow down long before hitting the atmosphere? Scientists believe the answer is yes. Any civilization capable of crossing light years would surely anticipate atmospheric entry, says Dr. Chris McKay of NASA. Even if they land safely, the next problem is oxygen. On Earth, we take oxygen for granted. It powers our bodies and ecosystems, but it's a highly reactive, corrosive gas. Life on our planet has evolved over millions of years to tolerate and even harness its chemical energy. That required specialized enzymes and biological machinery. But aliens may not be adapted to it at all. Breathing our air could be toxic. Eating our food? Impossible. They might require sealed suits or controlled habitats. There's another invisible threat: germs. In H.G. Wells's War of the Worlds, Martians were defeated not by human weapons, but by Earth's microscopic bacteria. It wasn't far-fetched. When the Spanish arrived in the Americas, they brought viruses that devastated indigenous populations. The reverse could be true for alien visitors, or for us, if we ever land on their world. During the Apollo missions, astronauts returning from the moon were quarantined, not because NASA expected alien bacteria, but because they couldn't rule it out. Dr. McKay leads research in Earth's most extreme environments, like the Mojave Desert, to understand how life survives in toxic or alien-like conditions. What he finds is astonishing. Life is adaptable. There are bacteria that live in acid, in salt, in boiling water, and even in radioactive waste. They're alien in their own way, he says. So any advanced alien race would likely be cautious. They would not just land and have a picnic. They would understand biological containment. They would have to. But that raises another question. What if aliens don't come in person at all? The best strategy for interstellar exploration may be to send machines. Tiny, intelligent, self-replicating nanobots. Small objects can move faster and survive longer. A microscopic probe could travel through space at near light speed, land on a moon, and begin duplicating itself using local materials. Eventually, it could build an entire fleet. It's a concept nature already uses. Viruses spread the same way. Humans are already exploring the solar system with robotic probes like Voyager or the Mars rovers. But nanotechnology would be the next step. Billions of mini-explorers moving like a cosmic swarm. So far, we've found no evidence that alien nanobots have visited Earth. But would we even recognize them if they did? Despite these possibilities, many people still claim to have seen actual alien beings. Not robots, not drones, but humanoid life forms. Some even say they were abducted. The Rendlesham forest incident continues to be one of the most compelling UFO cases involving military personnel. In December 1980, strange lights were seen descending into a forest near the RAF Woodbridge Air Base in Suffolk, England. Among those who responded was Deputy Base Commander Colonel Charles Halt. A visibly shaken security officer insisted on reporting to both Halt and the base commander in person. He was pale as a sheet, Halt recalled. The officer described witnessing a strange object landing in the woods. Halt, skeptical but responsible, decided to lead a team to investigate. Once in the forest, the environment seemed strangely still, birds and animals eerily silent. At the reported landing site, they found 3 circular indentations on the ground, each about 1.5 to 2 inches deep, forming a near-perfect triangle. Radiation levels measured with a Geiger counter were 4 times higher than background. And then something moved. Through the trees, a glowing red object appeared. It had a black center and emitted something resembling molten metal. It silently exploded into smaller white objects that vanished, Halt later recalled. Many skeptics suggest it was merely the Orford Ness lighthouse in the distance, but Colonel Halt remains steadfast. I know what we saw, but I don't know what it was. The incident fueled speculation. Had an alien reconnaissance craft visited Earth? Was it observing the military activity in the area? Such questions lead naturally to a bigger one. Could an alien race, millions of years more advanced than us, truly visit Earth? Modern physics doesn't outright forbid such possibilities. In 1905, Albert Einstein introduced the theory of special relativity, which suggests that no object can travel faster than the speed of light, about 186,000 miles per second. But then came general relativity in 1916. It introduced the idea that space-time is a fabric that can bend, stretch, and even twist under the influence of matter and energy. The universe, it seems, is more flexible than we imagined. Dr. Mikio Kaku, a theoretical physicist, explains, if space is a fabric, then maybe it can be manipulated. You don't need to go faster than light. You can warp the fabric itself. Enter the idea of wormholes, theoretical shortcuts through space-time. Imagine folding a piece of paper in half and poking a hole through it. That's the wormhole concept, 2 distant points in space suddenly adjacent. This concept has been around since the 19th century and was even fictionalized by Lewis Carroll in Alice in Wonderland. But science now treats it with mathematical seriousness. Yet wormholes come with problems. They might be radioactive, unstable, or collapse before one could enter them. Creating or sustaining one might require exotic matter or energy levels far beyond current human capabilities. Still, if an advanced civilization had found a way to use wormholes, interstellar travel becomes possible, not by breaking the speed of light, but by bending the universe. Another mind-blowing possibility is the warp drive. Like in Star Trek, this technology would compress space in front of a ship and expand it behind. The craft itself wouldn't move. It would remain stationary in its local bubble while space does the shifting. Physicist Lawrence Krauss warns that such a drive might be devastating to anything in its path. You would crush space ahead of you and stretch it behind. That could be catastrophic unless you cleared a safe path. Still, these ideas highlight something crucial. What is impossible for us today might be trivial to a civilization a million years older.